This video is made possible by our loyal Patreon supporters. Visit patreon.com.
Hi guys, Sheena here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys 5 of my favorite poses that challenge and improve balance and flexibility. So these 5 poses are poses that I do pretty much every day in some form or another. They are amazing for weight loss. They're amazing for really any sort of weight loss program because they do challenge all the major muscle groups in the body. So whether you're doing these in a yoga sequence, a whole flow, or you're just doing them on their own, you will see a lot of improvements in your balance, your flexibility, and your strength. So if you're doing this video with me, grab 2 blocks at home if you do have them, because I will be showing you guys some modifications for these moves if you're just starting out. So the first pose that we're going to get into is called tree pose. Now, tree pose is one of the beginner poses, so that's why I'm starting out with this one. So tree pose, typically the way it looks, the way you might have seen it, is bringing one foot to the opposite inner thigh, hands at heart, maybe hands are overhead. I like to keep my hands at heart here. Now, the benefits of tree pose are actually endless. This pose is a great leg strengthener. My leg is literally shaking as I'm standing up. It also elongates the body. Tree pose actually also calms the nervous system. So this pose is really used a lot of times in vinyasa flows towards the end when we're winding down. Just standing in this pose also helps challenge flexibility and improve balance. Flexibility, because a lot of times beginners will start off right here. It's very difficult actually to stay with your foot on your inner thigh like this for a pretty long time. So I do suggest that beginners start with their foot on their shins just to get used to standing on one leg with some weight on the leg. And then slowly, as you get comfortable, move your way up to the inner thigh. You want to be mindful here that when you do this pose, don't lean your foot against the knee joint, because we never want any extra weight added onto the joints. This is a muscle strengthening pose, not a joint strengthener. So tree pose calms the nervous system, helps improve balance, coordination, and flexibility. The more flexible you do become, the easier it'll be to actually dial that the thigh of the foot that's resting on the leg out away from you. So when we do this pose, we want to make sure we're almost in like a perfect 4, if that makes sense. And that is your tree pose. So for pose number 2, we're going to do standing splits. If you guys do have those blocks available, grab onto them because we're going to do this pose with these blocks. So go ahead and take your blocks and frame one foot, whichever foot feels good for you. And we're going to go ahead and lift the opposite leg, resting our hands on the blocks here. So when we do this pose, we want to make sure that the foot that's up in the air is flexed towards the ground. Our hips are square here, so we're not like this, we're like this. Both of our pelvic bones are facing the same direction. Now, when you're just beginning in standing splits, it's best to really use these blocks, because if you're just doing this pose for the first time, it might be difficult, depending on how flexible you naturally are, to reach the ground. But this pose does improve balance and flexibility, because the more flexible you do become, you'll start off at the highest height of this block, maybe make your way to the shorter end, eventually make your way to your fingertips, and then to the palms of your hands. If you'd really like to challenge your flexibility in this pose, one thing you can do once you do get comfortable in it is grab the ankle, maybe with one hand, maybe with both. And this is a leg strengthening pose. It challenges coordination as well, because it's difficult really to stand on that one leg and to hold the ankle at the same time. I always advise people to gaze down at the floor, but again, it's just a point that isn't moving. And this pose is actually really great for the splits. So a lot of people who actually start yoga, or just in general, want to learn how to do splits on the floor. This is a really great pose to warm up your hips and get your legs ready for that pose. So the more flexible you become in standing splits, the easier it'll be to do splits on the floor. And that is your standing split. So pose number 3 is going to be one of my favorites. It's called half moon pose. Grab one block for this one. You'll need one block. So putting the block on the floor by your right foot here, we're going to bring our right hand to the block. You can use your fingertips or place your palm on the floor. Placing your right foot to the left of the block, or the left of your hand, you're slowly going to raise your left leg up into the air and turn to the left side, opening up the side body. So your hips are open here. Now, I actually really use a block very often in this pose because even if you are very flexible and can reach the ground, the point of this pose is to open up the side body. So I don't want to be crunching here in the side body. I want to be really nice and long. And the reason for that is it's just a great stretch. It stretches out the entire body. It lengthens and strengthens the entire body. It tones the entire body as well. So using a block or a cushion here is really, really great. When we do this pose, again, we want to keep in mind that it's very different from standing splits and that our hips are open here. They're not closed, but they're open. So if you're doing half moon, be mindful here that half moon is very different from standing splits in that in standing splits, our hips are closed, or they're facing the same direction. And in half moon, our hips are open. When our hips are closed, our upper body, our front body is crunched. When our hips are open, our front body is also open. So we're stretching out the shoulders here, we're stretching out the arms, we're lengthening and toning the whole side body here. And that's what happens when we open our hips. So again, half moon is a great pose to challenge coordination. And make sure that when you do half moon, you really want to think about energy pulling in all opposite directions. So energy pulling out through the foot, out through the hand, all throughout the body. And that's half moon. So pose number 4 is called Warrior 3. Warrior 3, again, is an amazing balancing pose. It is difficult, but once you get the hang of it, it's a really, really great pose to challenge your coordination as well. So with Warrior 3, from standing on our 2 feet, we're going to launch off onto one leg. So I'm going to launch off with my left leg in the air here. And I like to bring my hands to my heart, but there are many variations of this pose. You can bring your arms out in front of you. You can bring your arms out behind you. Now with any balancing pose, you want to make sure you are looking at one point on the ground that isn't moving. You can even look a little bit in front of you. That'll actually make this pose easier. Keep the foot that's in the air flexed. Now, Warrior 3 might look very similar to standing splits because we're balancing on one leg and one leg is up in the air. However, the difference is that in Warrior 3, we want to keep the chest nice and long. So think about Warrior 3 almost as a flying pose, right? When we're flying, our chest and our shoulders are broad. So we really want to lift the chest here. The neck is long, the neck is in line with the spine. Versus standing split, where we're almost in cat position in our back. So Warrior 3 strengthens the glutes, it strengthens the quad muscles. The whole legs are really strengthened in Warrior 3 here. It's also a core strengthener because in Warrior 3, think about your core is really doing a lot of the work here. Your core is stabilized here and it's helping you balance. So when we engage the core, our Uddiyana Bandha, we're sucking our belly button in towards the spine, it's much easier to fly. And that's your Warrior 3. So our final pose today And in my opinion, the most difficult of the poses in this sequence is eagle pose. Now, eagle pose does challenge coordination. It will challenge your flexibility as well, and I'll show you guys some modifications for it. It is a glute strengthener, a quad strengthener, a hip strengthener as well. It tones the butt. So it's really just like a full body workout type of pose, and it's great for weight loss as well. So in eagle pose, I'm going to take from standing, I'm going to take my left leg and cross it around my right leg and cross it around my left leg so that the top of my right foot is hugging my left shin. Then I'm going to take my right arm and cross it around my left arm. I'm going to sink just a little bit into like a baby squat. Again, looking at a point that isn't moving. Now again, this is a squat, so you're really challenging your whole lower body here, but you're challenging your upper body as well, because in this pose, we're keeping our shoulders away from our ears, we're lengthening through the arms, and we're sitting into an imaginary chair. So we're lifting and we're sitting at the same time. Again, in yoga, think about energy pulling in two opposite directions, right? That's how we lengthen and strengthen at the same time. Now, a great modification for this pose actually is if you're not very naturally flexible, you can start simply making a little figure 4 with your legs, so your right foot doesn't have to cross all the way around like this. It can go like this. Same thing with your arms. Your hands don't have to touch. If this little weird arm pose here does not work for your arms, that's okay. The more you do it, the more malleable your wrists will become, and the easier it'll be to have your hands touch like this. So this pose, as I said, really challenges your lower body strength. You will feel your legs shaking in this pose, and make sure that you're really looking at something on the wall that isn't moving. Again, think about this pose as a lengthening and strengthening pose. A lot of people will crunch their arms into their chest, but remember that your upper body is doing work here as well as your lower body. Make sure your back is long, and always slowly come out of the pose. And that's your eagle pose. We'd always love to hear your guys' feedback, so if you have any requests, please let us know. If you have any poses that you'd like to learn more about and would like us to break down more, please let us know in the comments as well. Things like back pain, migraine pain, any issues that you may be experiencing in your everyday life, we'd love to help you out with those, so leave your comments. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and come back and practice with me soon. Namaste. Be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. And if you haven't already, follow us on social media for tips, tutorials, giveaways, and daily inspiration.
We at WellnessPLUS specialize in all things health and wellness, ranging from yoga and fitness to massage and ASMR. Whether you are looking to target specific areas of tension or want to enhance your general self-care routine, we provide the tools you need to feel better, look better, and live better. We have courses for every level, whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro. Our courses provide a wide range in difficulty to accommodate your evolving flow.
Welcome back to Yoga with Jess. We are going to break down some really essential postures.
We are going to rock out with some of the most essential ab exercises that you need to have the abs that you've always dreamed of.
I've blended techniques to help you connect with students, and you can be a rock star teacher.
WellnessPLUS is available on Amazon, which you can stream from your home on your phone, tablet, or TV. Join WellnessPLUS today and get your first 7 days free.
Introducing Yoga Plus, offering a free series every month with over 300 different videos. Take control of your health. Work out anytime, anywhere. Yoga Plus. Download now for free.